I always wondered why African leaders were so wicked and heartless to their own people. Has anybody ever wondered why? Sometimes it comes in slogans, as for the black man, we don't love ourselves. Like there's all these things that go around. But have you wondered why we are like that? I used to wonder why until I read the history books. And in this video, I'm going to shed some light and hopefully bring some understanding to why African leaders are the way they are. If you are new here, my name is Nina and I'm the designer for a clothing brand, Koshio. I'm known as making the best African luxury, especially men's shirts. I was known for that. But I recently started an Afritude movement where I'm using streetwear as a medium to tell our stories because I know fashion can get into spaces that videos can't. We're telling our own stories and we're changing the narrative through fashion. So that's what I do. But I'm here and I just blabber mouth about what's going on in the continent and how we can bring change to make it better. So if you like this, subscribe, stick around, and this is the Afritude movement. It's like everywhere in the world, the leaders think about their respective countries. They are so patriotic. Only in Africa, power comes with cruelty and privilege comes with oppression. Yes. During colonization era, I believe we are still being colonized in another way, but that's a video for another story. And I'm going to focus on Ghana. Like I said, I'm from Ghana, but everything that I talk about can be mimicked across the continent. Some are worse off and some are better off. But you can piggyback off my videos and do your own personal research. During colonization, they'll say that they built hospitals, the British built hospitals, they built schools, and they did all this infrastructure. That is a fallacy. Let me tell you this for free today. Everything that the British did, they did for their own good. Yes, they did it for their benefit. They didn't do it thinking about the African. They built schools because they started having children and their children needed to be educated, right? They built hospitals because as they were based there, about 3,000, 4,000 of them in between civil servants and everything that they were doing for the government, they were getting sick. So they built hospitals for their people, right? I was today years old when I figured out that in Ghana, there was a time where blacks were not allowed at certain places. Did you guys know that this is not I'm not seeing this in our history books. There was a time that black people were not allowed in certain places. It was only whites allowed. Everything that they built, the railways and all those things that they built, the railway went from the mine straight to Takoradi Harbor. Yes, straight to the harbor. How are we going to loot and take these natural resources and get it out of here? And that was the modus operandi. So those people that have come under some of my videos and are insulting me, the British built this and the British did that, please let us study our history properly. But everything that the British did when they were in Ghana, they did it for their benefits. They did it for themselves. I'm sure you are wondering how this rant is going to get to why our African leaders are wicked. Don't worry, I am building something. Please pay attention. An example of a place that was for whites only was the Rich Hospital. So the Rich Hospital just served a few British, whereas we had the main hospital for the Africans, the Kolibu, which was always overcrowded. As this Rich Hospital serves only whites only, there were a few people that every now and then with a little privilege that were African will be allowed to go to those hospitals and those spaces. So you see, what the colonizer did was they picked a few people and made them elitist in our society. And the British, because they were so selfish when it came to the black man, they were not selfish with each other. The elitist who was being groomed, who was under them, only saw them serve themselves. So for instance, if they built roads, the roads were leading to their bungalows. If they built hospitals, it was for their children. Like everything was privilege, which brought about oppression. So the people that they picked, the elitists that they picked, that they made a few handful of them go to, like, the Oxford universities and speak the Queen's English and hang with them and go to their balls and their parties. Those black people and those elitists started to have this mindset where They hated themselves and always wanted to feel superior over their brother. I hope I'm making sense here. So the people that had access to the British saw how they dealt with the masses. And in turn, when they got power, they in turn started to behave like that. So if you look at African leaders or if you look at the elitists, it's like me and my family. It's never about community. It's always me and my family and me and my people. Me. It's never about community. But the British that they taught us to hate ourselves, they, on the other hand, hated us, but they knew that they needed each other to build community and to build society. When they are in England, they build the roads for everybody. But when they are in Ghana, they build or the Gold Coast at that time, they only build the road for themselves. But this is what the person that's sitting next to them, brainwashed, sitting next to them, having that kind of privilege, you get this pompous attitude, and it's created this thing where the African always wants one over the other. And that's why when an African man gets money, it's about expensive items, it's about expensive cars, it's about expensive lifestyle. It's never about community. The other day I saw a video on TikTok. I saw a video where somebody had gone to Billionaires Row, and some of the wealthy people in Nigeria, they took their videos of their homes and their mansions. And right behind the house, there's a big, huge open gutter. How am I going to respect someone who is on Forbes list, but when he leaves his house, there's an open, smelly gutter, right? But it's always about me, myself, and I. And that's like cutting off your nose to spite your face. Because when the mosquitoes come there, they will still come over. Your wall doesn't have a net. So they'll still come in your house and come and give you the malaria. But it taught the black man to our brain was wired in a way that honestly is going to take a while to decolonize, and a lot of education, right? So it's time that African leaders, we look within ourselves, we look at the problems that we have in society and start teaching the children and start making moves, because it's like even trying to develop and trying to bring ideas even to an African country, you will get challenged because of the mindset. So the African leader, like what the British did, what he does is he serves himself. He thinks only about his family. He doesn't think about community. And he's very, very selfish and wicked with it. And I believe that these are some of the effects of colonialism or being colonized. So when Africans are saying they need reparations, this thing runs very, very deep. Look, we are not poor because we lack talent. That's not what the problem in Africa is. We are poor because we look at each other as competition instead of community. So if you are looking at the next person as competition instead of community, how would you build together, right? And I feel there's a way around this. In school in America, the students have projects that they have to work on together, and everybody plays a role. And because they do it continuously from kindergarten to there's always some group exercise. And because they do this, they understand how far they are able to get together. So these are some of the exercises that we need to have in the school. And I think it's very, very, very important. But, we have to bring these things to light so that we ourselves, we can understand ourselves. I've had so many issues when it comes to doing business on the continent. I've had a lot of challenges. I've had issues because the black man, for some reason, they'll steal from you, they'll backbite you. There's no sense of community. There's no patriotism. I believe that we are the way we are because of the effects of colonization. I hope that I've been able to shed a little light on this problem. Comment and let me know how you feel about this, and comment some solutions and how we can make these demands that our respective governments try to start making change. Whilst the world is distracted, how are we moving forward as Africans? Well, this is the Afritude movement, and if you like content like this and you want to join the movement and people that have hearts for the continent to get better, subscribe to this channel and let's move together. This is the Afritude movement.